Hey everyone, Ian from Innuendo Studios here. Here to let you know that for the time being, Innuendo Studios is taking a break. I'm not sure for how long, and there's a chance it might be permanent. Well, you've seen the title of the video, so that is not hyperbole. It's not strictly speaking true. Like bankruptcy is only one of several options right now, but it is a very real and likely possibility. I've been saying that doing this job is making ends meet for a while, and it has in the sense that most months I end with my bank account at least nominally in the positive. Not all, but most. But if making ends meet is supposed to entail things like being able to settle up your credit card debt or settle up personal loans you take from friends and loved ones, or being able to pay the 30% in taxes that freelancers own every April, taking a full account, I have been running this channel at a loss for 7 years. And between back taxes I owe the government, a maxed out credit card that is in collections, and money I owe to a few people who've bailed me out, I have a total accumulated debt that is pushing $100,000. And I'm not going to say I'm perfect at managing money. There wasn't a life I could have been living these past 7 years where I would have earned $100,000 more than I did. So, backers on Patreon already know about this. When I told them, it was framed as, I'm gonna probably do some kind of fundraiser or do a Patreon relaunch. There's a bunch of stuff I've been doing over on Patreon that I still hadn't even announced here on YouTube yet. But I just can't take it anymore. This is just a lot of strain to put on me and to put on my family. And I've felt for a long time that I'm on the verge of, kind of making it. I've been dancing around the periphery for a while. Back in 2020, right before COVID happened, the numbers were really doing good. The Patreon was really solid. I was making more money than I'd ever made, and it really seemed like it was going to keep heading that way. And then they just started to dip, and it's never really recovered. Once I hurt my back and I couldn't work for a while, and life just got more expensive, it's really seemed like, especially with joining Nebula and everything, it keeps feeling like if I could just hang on a little longer, I get it cracked. And I'd become one of those fully self-sustained people, and maybe I would, maybe if I could hold on a little longer, I would, but I can't keep struggling in the meantime. So for now, we're going to call this a sabbatical. I'm not officially quitting. It's possible I will find part-time work, which means that, if it's enough hours that it brings in decent money that I could supplement Patreon and AdSense with, I could keep doing this part-time, which is, when I started out, that's what it was. It was a thing I was juggling with freelancing in school. So maybe that's an option. I have to see what's out there. But at least for the next month or so, kind of my mindset is to live my life with the question, what if I wasn't a YouTuber? How would I spend my time? Where would I put my energies? What would I work on if you didn't always have that gnawing feeling of like, I should be working on my video? What would my home look like? What would my social life look like? How would my free time look? Free time is a concept. We're just going to see what that's like. So maybe part-time work, maybe the channel sticks around in some capacity, maybe I'll do something that leaves me energy on the weekends. Maybe I'll collaborate with people. But right now I'm not promising anything. I've been doing this for 11 years. And it's weird to say that it is the most financially stable I've ever been, because when I started this job, I was only a year or two off of food stamps, but it's just never made the kind of income that lets you trust that you're going to be able to cover your expenses 3-4 months from now. I have no savings. There's nothing for retirement. I owe more than I make in a year. Outside of a few big names, probably almost all of your favorite YouTubers are doing worse than you think. So for the time being, I'm gonna leave the Patreon turned on, at least for like a few months. There's a bunch of stuff I do on Patreon that like I haven't even announced it here on YouTube. I've been doing it for like a year and change now. I do these little projects where like I have a film randomizer list. It's like a list of, this year's list is like 36 movies, where I hit shuffle on Letterboxd and watch whichever one comes up first and try to get through the whole list by the end of the year. And I write little reviews for them. Or I have like a video game cabinet, just games I'm trying to get through before the end of the year. I do a reading log. And I make a playlist, a 6-song playlist every month that I share with patrons. And I really enjoy doing that, and it doesn't take a ton of time and energy. So like I'm probably going to keep doing that. And there's a project I do with Willow from the channel Questing Refuge. I also haven't announced this on YouTube yet. It was supposed to be part of this Patreon relaunch that I guess I'm not doing anymore. But we are doing weekly adventure game reviews. I have a list of 50 games and like a really overly complicated rating system. I'm trying to make like a 50 game adventure game tier list. And so these little 1-minute reviews that we release every Monday, and that's over on Nebula, but also patrons, like every month I do a supercut of all the ones I did that month, so like patrons get that as well. Willow and I work well together. Writing and graphics are what comes easy for me, and editing is always kind of a slog, and they're like the exact opposite. Like editing comes really easy for them, and they always get like, they have a really hard time with writing. So that project has been actually surprisingly like easy for both us. So I'm going to see that through to the end of the year. And there'll be like a supercut of all 52 videos, intro, 50 reviews, and conclusion. That'll hit YouTube January of 2026 when that's done. So like I'm gonna see that through. Had a lot of stuff I was working on that I don't know when or if it will come out. Had this like really big thing I'd been working on for a few years about neo-noir, and I had something about Disco Elysium that was kind of becoming a manifesto on what I wanted the channel to be in 2025, having wrapped the alt-right playbook. There was this thing on John Wick that I wanted to get out this month before Ballerina. There's like 3 or 4 protagonies. I was just thinking about art where, following the election, I wanted to do this thing about art where the good guys lose and then life goes on, because that felt really resonant. That all this stuff. So that'll come out if it comes out. I don't know if any of that will come out in any form. I hate to let anything go to waste, but I don't know what to do with it. I mean, none of it's done. We'll see, is all I can say. I also intend, I've been meaning to do this for a while, but when I finished the alt-right playbook, I had like made a decision after the re-election that I just wanted to wrap it, which meant kind of jumping to the end. I had a few scripts still unproduced, and my intent still is to release the unproduced scripts under Creative Commons license, and also like a graphics pack of a bunch of like, at least like the base graphics, the little dupes. So anyone who wants to use the title, the alt-right playbook, to produce those scripts is welcome to, provided you release under the same Creative Commons license. That's a thing I've been meaning to do for a little while. It's just been wrapped up doing other stuff. So I'll probably still do that. And I will post a GoFundMe. I was going to do like a big like fundraiser and live stream and everything to try to see if I could raise the money from the community to help pay off the debt. I'm not going to do all that now, but I will post a GoFundMe if anyone wants to help me pay down that debt. I mean, like bankruptcy is not necessarily the only way of dealing with it. And when you file for bankruptcy, you have to pay some of it. And so I have to have some chunk of money. And there's also a thing called an offer in compromise, where you like basically offer them a percentage of the debt you owe and see if they'll accept it. And you have to pay that in a lump sum. I've done that with collections agents before. So if anyone wants to contribute to that, you can also still back the Patreon, even if it's just like if you just want to think of it as a thank you. And I thank you as well. You can do that. Links to both of those, I guess, will be down there. And if anyone out there would like to hire the services of Ian from Innuendo Studios, and you're offering something that at least has health insurance, I'll also put a resume and contact info in the down there part. So I don't think I'm disappearing. Whatever I'm doing, I'm always going to be making stuff, and this is where I have a particular audience. And so if anything I make is video, it will end up here, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Depending on what my earnings are, I might just turn off ads. I hate watching videos with ads, so if this isn't my income anymore, I might just go ahead and turn those off. I mean, if I'm not posting videos anymore, it doesn't end up being very much anyway. But if I'm able to do this part-time, then maybe not. Maybe I'll keep that on because it'll actually be a source of income. I don't... Right now, I'm just not promising anything specific. Thank you all for 11 years of Innuendo Studios. Even if the financial precarity, like my official position right now, is that it's not worth it anymore. For those 11 years, it really was. And I don't know what's out there. I'm probably calling a temp agency on Monday. Good God. You know what it's like to have a resume that just says content creator for 11 years? What does that even qualify you for? But it's been an honor. And I hope we see each other again soon. Thank you.